Hey, this is Julie from the Old Tattered Flag, and today we're going to show you the raised stem stitch. I really love this stitch to use as a border or for a thick, bold line in a design. The trellis-like texture just gives it a really nice look and it fills it in nicely. So you can see that I've drawn two vertical lines that are about a 1/4 inch apart. Then I have evenly spaced, approximately a 1/4 inch. I don't really get too wrapped up in it. What I call rungs on the ladder with my Sharpie pen. I have drawn those lines about a 1/4 of an inch apart, and you can see that I've got 6 lines to fill in that segment of section that I want to show you that we're going to fill in. So I'm just gently stitching those little 1/4 inch lines on the rungs of the ladder in, and then we're going to start the stitch. Bear with me while we get through this base part. I'm using 6 strands of DMC floss, and I'm using a large embroidery needle. I like to use a large embroidery needle because I have large hands, and it's just works better for me to hold a larger needle than a small one. I'm using the 6 strands of DMC embroidery floss because I like a nice bold line. I like chunkier textures, and so that's the thread I like to use. If you prefer finer work, you can always use a thinner thread. You could use a 3-strand Valdani. You could use just basically any variety of thread. Just go thinner if you like finer work. So you can see that I've started at the bottom rung, and I came up with my needle right next to the right-hand side of it. I start from the right side. I am right-handed. I'm taking my needle, and you'll see that I started to insert it with the needle part in the next rung up, but I decided to flip my needle around and use the eye end of the needle because it's blunt. If I used the sharp point of the needle, it might catch some threads, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep poking that. I'm going up one rung at a time, and I'm inserting the needle end under that rung, like so, and I'm pulling it back through. And so basically it's just going around each rung and then back up under the next rung. I'm taking my needle tip and I'm going to keep pushing those threads over as far as they'll go to the right. I'm going to go to the next to the top rung, tap those threads over, and I'm finally at the top rung. I'm going to tap those threads over, and then I'm going to insert the needle down at the very top. I'm going to pull my thread all the way down to the bottom and come right up next to that first row. I'm then going to repeat going over each rung. This is a fun stitch to see come together. You have to take your time with it. You have to make sure that you're not pulling anything too tight. You don't want it to be too loose either. If you pull it too tight, you'll distort the image of the rungs. Just keep poking those threads over into the spot that they're supposed to be. Keep going over the rung, pulling your thread through, and then going over the next rung. We're going to speed things up, and we'll meet you on the other side. you can see that that line filled in really nicely. As we get close to the end, it gets a little bit tighter to pull those loops through those rungs. But if you just gently nudge the previous stitches over with the end of the needle, the eye end of the needle, they're no worse for wear. It doesn't hurt them at all. So we're going to do that last rung. We're going to pull it up nice so that it's all nice and tidy. And we're going to nudge that over and we're going to insert our needle and then knot it off on the back. It's a really nice stitch. Fills in nicely. That's the raised stem stitch. And I want to thank you for watching.